Hello, everyone. Hi, I'm Brian Goodine. I'm in the SAL Master's Program here at Reinhardt University. I'm also a head collegiate volleyball coach. The reason I'm here talking to you today is I wanted to discuss issues in youth sports. Um, I've been thinking about, in the 19 years of coaching that I've been involved in youth sports, how much things have changed. And then I've tried to dial it back and think about when I was involved in youth sports as a player. And I can say that for me, when I played, and I'm sure a lot of you, it was all about the joy of playing. Like, I loved it. I loved getting to meet new people and play with my friends and just to get out of the house. It was amazing. And I think because of those experiences I had, I fell in love with sports. It is a huge reason that I wanted to get involved in coaching and stay in sports. I don't think I would be coaching today if it wasn't for the experiences I had when I was younger. And then I fast forward to today and think about over the years of coaching in youth sports, and I've seen a complete transition in that. Kids experience so much more pressure today than I experienced when I played. And I'm trying to think why. What's the difference is what I've been trying to come up with. And the best thing that I can see is that sports today, and for youth, it's not about the kids anymore. I feel like it's more about the adults. To give you a great example of that, being involved in youth sports and the organizations I've been in, I've been a coaching director, and so I've been very involved on the business side of things. And I watch these people that are running their youth organizations, and they really are all about the parents. They're all about the adults. Everything they're designing isn't really specifically about the kids. And I totally understand. For a while, as I looked at it, I thought, well, it is a business and the parents are the ones that are paying the bills. But if you're starting youth sports and it's supposed to be about the kids, that's what we're preaching, that's what we're saying, then that's not what it should be about. It shouldn't be about the adults. I mean, if your reason for getting involved in youth sports is because it's a huge moneymaker and that's the only reason you're involved in it, then okay, I can see that, and that's another separate issue. But the organizations I've been involved in, one of the missions that is been preached about on at least 3 occasions at 3 different organizations is about the kids. But when I really look at it and I dissect it, it has been more designed about the adults. So that is an issue. That is something that I have seen, that I can point my finger at and I can know, okay, here's an issue. And then I think about, okay, let me think about some other things. What am I seeing? What is causing the pressure on these kids? And then I start to think about some examples that I could give. And I'm thinking about, for myself, coaching volleyball and youth sports. I could see myself at a tournament coaching a 14-year-old young lady, and she makes some mistakes on the court. And I come over really quick. I let her know where she was out of position, what she can do to read it better, what she can do to pass the volleyball better, and how we can smooth things out. And then as she turns around and backs up, she's then hearing a dad yelling at her pretty loudly that she needs to stop making mistakes and that she's embarrassing him. It's stuff like that that really started to stick out to me, where I'm like, wait a second. So this young lady has to have the coach come to her, tell her something that she's not doing well and how she can fix it. So she's had to deal with that. She's already feeling bad because she made a mistake. Then she turns around and she has now a parent yelling at her. Then I look, and 2 rows behind that parent is a dad that is saying something negative about the play. Like, come on, you gotta do better. We just lost that point. And it just starts to hit me that it's not about the kids. It's about these adults. They're not sitting there enjoying being a spectator and being a fan and watching their daughters play. They're involved in the competition, and suddenly we're at the world championships. You can think about it in any sport that you watch. You see it all the time on social media, where parents are yelling at officials, yelling at umpires, yelling at referees, or they're yelling at one another, or they're trying to fight an official, or they're trying to fight a parent, or a parent is yelling at a kid that's not even their kid, or a parent is yelling at their own kid. So we've just gotten completely away from what this is all about. And what is amazing is that these parents would not tolerate this in their own home. One of the things that I've really enjoyed seeing, I was looking online and I got to see a commercial. It was a Canadian commercial, and the commercial was a gentleman at a golf course getting ready for a putt, and behind him was his 12-year-old son standing behind him going, "Come on, you need to focus. You're not standing right. Make sure you hit this putt." And then the dad missed the putt, and you just see the young man look at him and go, "You suck," and walks away. And so I think it's really cool that, at least when I'm looking at there, that in Canada they're really trying to make an effort and really put a highlighter on what's going on in youth sports and really putting examples out there. I say it to my parents all the time when I have some parents that I coach in youth sports. I coach their kids, and then sometimes I've had some parents get on me and I've used for an example, how would you guys like it if I showed up at work and I go to your job and you're sitting behind your desk, you're doing something, and I'm standing there in your office going, "Are you kidding me? You can't type faster? Are you serious? That's what you're gonna say on that phone call?" And they were just taken back, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm sure you never really thought about it that way." It's really simple stuff when we really think about it. The goal here is for parents to just support their kids, and we've gotten away from that. Another great example I can give you is, and I'll leave the names out and where I was coaching, but it was a high school match. And I had a young lady that played for me. She was 14 years old, and she played outside. She was on a varsity team. She was amazing, to be honest with you. I really thought this girl was going to be a collegiate athlete, and she was going to go far. She just had that much talent. It was just a matter of she could enjoy playing and love it. And unfortunately, she had a dad that was super hard on her. To give you a quick example, we had a game where she played. She was outstanding. If you hit 300 as an outside hitter, you are phenomenal. This girl hit over 500. At the end of the match, which we won in 3, best out of 5, and we crushed the other team, gave the girl a high five, let her know she played great. As she's walking out of the gym, I'm standing, and all of a sudden I just hear screaming. Whole gym turns, and the dad is screaming at her as they walk out because she had missed 2 serves during the game. And he was literally screaming at her about the 2 serves she missed and how she embarrassed him. And I was just shocked. I couldn't believe it. He was so blessed to have such an amazing, talented young lady. And she fits into that statistic that I gave you, that 70% of kids are quitting. She played until she graduated from high school, and then during her freshman year of college, she ended up quitting before the preseason was over. She just felt too much pressure, and she lost the joy of the game. When I got a chance to talk to her about it, she just completely lost the love of the game. And over the years of coaching during these 19 years, I could go on and on about situations like that, and it's why it's got me so passionate about this subject and wanting to talk about it with everyone. I want to see less and less of that. I think one of the things that we're losing out on is we're not seeing enough adults telling these young men and women that we just love watching them play. And I will tell you, as a college coach, I want to start getting to a place where I'm letting my kids know when I'm coaching them that I love watching them play, and I'm not doing that enough. And parents aren't the only issues. That's why I'm saying that this is an adult issue. Coaches as well. We could go on a whole nother talk, and someday I will, about what we can do better as coaches. But in my experiences, what I've watched, especially over the last 10 years, is the parents are just going overboard, and it's suddenly not about their kids anymore. It seems like it's about them. And instead of supporting and giving that love, and I know it's their intention, I guarantee when they're at home and when they originally put their kids in these sports, the intention was for their young son or daughter to play a sport, to love a sport, to learn from it, to learn through competition. And then something, I don't know, clicks, something happens when they're watching. And when you're in a gym and you can't just sit there and wait for your son or daughter to be done with practice, that you have to yell at your kid at a practice in front of everyone, that's an issue. And I wish I could just say it's a personal issue with a few. It's a huge issue with millions of kids. So today, here in 2019, we have too many kids that just aren't enjoying sports. And we have too many people that are pushing young kids. I mean, young, we're talking kids that aren't even 9, 10 years old that are being pushed to specialize in certain sports instead of just playing to love it. So I'm here today just talking about this issue and asking that if we as adults can just tell the kids that we love watching them play, that's it. That kid comes off the basketball court, walks off the softball field, the baseball field, the lacrosse field, whether it's coming off the volleyball court, whatever sport it may be. If the only thing you could say to them is, I love watching you play, I challenge you to do that. And I think you will be amazed at what happens. Even if that kid gets in the car and is complaining about playing or this or that, just tell them you love watching them play. If your kid is telling you they want to quit and you get all fired up and you can't believe it, just tell them you love watching them play. It's a challenge that I give to you, and I thank you so much for listening. Have a good one.